We're predicting performance for all confirmed cars in the GTA Tuners update. Let's have some fun. Here's one you'll definitely want to stick around for. I'm taking every car that we know is coming in this update based on the trailer and the newswire. We're comparing them to some cars that are currently in the game. That's going to give us an idea of what the performance is going to be like. Then I'm going to tell you my predictions for quarter mile circuit time, top speed, and the stock boy speed score for each of these cars. We'll rank them at the end. If you don't know how I test for accurate reproducible quarter mile times, be sure to check that out, but let's get going. The new Dominator GTT looks amazing, and this car is going to be another car at the top of this class as far as racing goes. It's going to have a slightly better quarter mile time than the Yosemite, but I think it's going to really stick on the circuit. A speed score of 82.9 is really solid. Well, we'll say this, really solid for muscle cars. Now that's out of 100 if you're not familiar with it. Muscle cars don't like the speed score much, but they're still fun. The Futo GTX was probably the biggest surprise for me in this update, and it looks awesome, but I don't think it's going to be a drifter. I think it's going to be a really controversial car. I'll tell you why in a second. What I do think it's going to do is compete with the Club for circuit time. It's going to be a pretty grippy car. I would think it's going to be kind of along the lines of the Club and some of those other older classic sports cars, which will be fun, but people may not like it, and here's why. GTX, well, the Vapid Dominator GTX, the original Dominator oversteered pretty well, and it was a lot of fun to drive. This one just grips. I'd expect it to be a lot of the same. This one was a little harder to pick up in the video, and Rockstar hasn't really officially announced it. It's on the cover of their trailer, though. It looks like a BRZ and a Toyota 86. I think it's going to be a lot like the Issy Sport, another car here that I don't think is going to drift very well, but it'll handle really well in the sports class. And with a speed score of 86.99, it'll be right up there with the Issy and more of a circuit car than anything else. I really thought that this was an RCF the first time I saw the video. It looks a lot like it, but after looking at it a little more closely, this is definitely the same car. So not two different cars there. The new Fister Comet, I'm assuming, is what it's going to be called. I'm really excited for this, and I think it gives us an opportunity to have another car that's competitive in the top of the sports class. I would expect this car to be a monster on the circuit. A 56.99 circuit time would put it up there with supercars, just like the Italy RSX, GTO, the Neo, all those good ones. A really high top speed and a very good quarter mile time as well. I really want more balance in the sports class, and that's exactly what this car is going to give us. The Calico GTF, and this is the first car that we knew was coming in the update. GTF for GT4, I love how they did that. I think this is going to be balanced with the Penumbra FF. I think they're both going to be great cars and a lot of fun. But the Calico GTF, I would expect to rally pretty well also, so look for some off-road handling. A really solid sports class car, but not going to compete with the top guys. I had a little bit of a moment when I first saw this Dominator. It's such an awesome addition to the game, and we needed it because we need competition for this. The Gauntlet Hellfire is a great car, and I think these cars are going to be well balanced. I'd expect the Dominator to have a slightly better circuit time, maybe handle a little bit better, slightly slower quarter mile and top speed. The Hellfire will still be the king as far as power goes, but they'll be able to race each other competitively. The Remus is a perfect addition for a Tuners update. Seeing a Sylvia in this game is really awesome, and every update though has that one kind of inexpensive car that doesn't perform quite as well as the rest. I have a feeling that's what this is going to be, but what I see it as is kind of a Futo that drifts a lot better, kind of like you're drifting on water with the Futo. It's not going to perform great, but it's going to be one of the fan favorites for sure. I love S2000s, and this is probably better than the Miata I was hoping for, except just please don't put those wheels on it. My God, Rockstar, what were you thinking? This car is going to be a lot like the Jester Classic. It's going to be really fun to drive, more grippy than drifty, I would imagine, and a circuit time of under 1 minute, speed score respectable, kind of in that mid-tier sports class. I think this will be a lot of fun. I'm really, really excited for this car. It's finally happening. A ZR380 that we're going to be able to race, and I think this is going to be great. Look at that white one too. Cool, that's so good looking. The ZR380 is an awesome car. I never drive it in my videos because it's really goofy, and I hate the fact that I have to try to hide all the armored plating on it. It's still so great though, and the performance is really, really good. So I'm expecting that to carry over into the Euros. It's going to be at the top of the sports class, and people might not like that, but you can't make this car worse than the ZR380. Call me weird. After thinking about it, I'm calling it. This is going to be my favorite car in this update. I cannot wait for it. I think it's going to be a lot like the Yosemite Drift, but a little bit better. Not performance-wise, it'll be close performance-wise, but I think that the drifting is going to feel a little bit more natural. It's going to be a lot easier to drift around, slide around. It looks really neat, and it's so unique. It's such a perfect addition to the game. Don't expect to win races, but expect to have a lot of fun. This to me was the one must-have in this update, and Rockstar nailed it. I mean, just look at that thing. It looks amazing. I think it's going to be close to the top sports cars like the Jugular. That's not a bad thing. The Jugular is very underrated. It's very quick. A 58.1 circuit time is really fast, and that quarter mile time is actually really quick too. A 93.99 speed score means it's awesome. I think it's also going to be able to drift because they really dropped the ball with that Jester Classic. The Tailgater S, and they just did a really good job with this car. I think it's going to be well balanced with the Jester RR and some other cars that you see in this video. Close to the top of the sports class. Handling for this one along the lines of the 8F Drafter, just very grippy. Also have a really solid quarter mile time because, you know, it's all-wheel drive Audi. You get all that grip off the line. That's how it should be, and a really respectable speed score. BMW is another manufacturer that doesn't get much love, or at least not recently, from Rockstar, so this new Sentinel, I'm assuming it's going to be called, is going to be a ton of fun. I think it's also going to be well balanced with the other top sports cars in this update. Give us some more variety in sports class races and have a lot of fun racing these 3-4 cars against each other. Performance-wise, I think it'll be close to the Jester RR, just more grip, a lot less of a drifter. And the ZR350, odd naming choice. I think we all know this is going to be in the game by now. The RX-7, I just hope they get the sound right. If we have a rotary sound, that'd be amazing. It's going to be the new king of drifting in the game. Because of that, I think it's going to suffer a little bit on the circuit, not have quite as much grip, so it'll be a little slower there than a lot of these top tier cars from the update, but it's going to finally give that Banshee some competition. The speed score predictions. You've already kind of seen these, but here, let's take a look at this. And if you're not familiar with the speed score, be sure to check out that video too after this. It combines acceleration, handling, and top speed. This is how I think these cars are going to stack up. The Fister Comet, whatever it's going to be called, it's going to be at the top of the sports class. It's going to compete with the Italy RSX, the GTO, the Neo, all those good cars. The Euros, Tailgater, Sentinel, Jester RR, I think they're going to all compete with each other really well, and they're going to be right there with cars like the Jugular. So they'll be a lot of fun to drive. The ZR380, like I said, slightly slower because it's going to be more geared toward drifting. Some of these other cars kind of fall off a bit, but the Dominator is going to be at the top of the muscles class. If you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to do that. Bottom right corner of your screen. We've got a lot of great car people already as a part of our little Stockboy gaming community, and I'm looking to build the best one in GTA Online. I really hope you enjoyed this video. All my videos are going to be edited and cinematic like this, so join us. Don't get left behind. I hope you have a good one, and I hope to see you next time.